What is up, ball bags? JJ back here from Run Pure Bets with another free pick for it. This time it's going to be Major League Baseball for Tuesday, June the 15th. Game's going to be played between the Chicago White Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays. Going for the Sox is Dallas Keuchel, and for the Rays, Shane Mclanahan. Current betting spread is Sox minus 108. Total 8.5. So another 2-0 week with these solo vids. Closing out last week with Angels minus 135 on Friday night. By far the biggest favorite I've given out on these videos, minus 135. I know, sue me. Certainly won't be the norm for me. I don't usually go that way. I only really go that way if I feel I have about 30 cents edge, and felt it in that case. Those who follow these videos from onset, no, I don't really give favorites that big that often. I kind of like to hang out in that like plus 115, minus 120 range. Look, teach his own, right, or her own. Moves these vids to 16-6 plus 10.7 units. Marks the second 5-game winning streak out of just 22 games. Live show plays split for me for the weekend. 1-0 on Saturday with a sweat-free win, and then 1-2 on Sunday. Tilting loss with the Mets. And I'll tell you, this season for me in baseball has been a tough pill to swallow. Again, sure, these videos are doing good, but small sample. Overall, like I handicap this sport. It's usually one of my bigger volume success sports. Again, not from an ROI perspective. It's just a sport that I typically bet heavy volume. Now, this season in particular, I've been betting more tennis to kind of offset it. But again, these solo vids have been good, but kind of everything else has been below average, to say the least. And for me, it's been tough. But look, all you can do is try to continue to go through the swings. And look, it's a long season, right? So hopefully all of it medians out and some good luck, bad luck, whatever you want to call it. Overall, these videos have been good, so let's keep it going. Now, what I do want to touch on real quick, and this is not something I talk on often, baseball managers and how they approach certain games. And look, I have two examples actually from this weekend in games I bet. One good, one bad, and so also don't get used to me talking about baseball managers. So not going to be common here. When you handicap games, managers along with like prepared bullpen arms that are ready to go, they need to be taken into account when you bet a baseball game. Sure, maybe just might be a cherry on top, kind of like umpires, right? If you got a high K umpire or a big walk umpire, whatever, big zone, small zone, just a cherry on top. But either way, most managers are net neutral in Major League Baseball, meaning that most will win the team the same amount of games they will lose a team in the same season. But for sure there are some that win a net 5 to 15 games a season, and some that lose a net 5 to 15 games a season. May not seem like much, but this is the difference between teams that are in the playoffs versus watching the playoffs. Speaking of watching, I find some managers get caught watching a game versus actually managing it. Some overcomplicate situations. And while others just have a knack for making right decision after right decision. Now, this is not to say that managers cannot evolve either. I'll give you an example. Dave Roberts comes to mind as somebody who I labeled a net loss a few years back with the Dodgers, and now I actually have him as a net gain. He's made some vast improvements as a manager during his tenure with the Dodgers. Again, I'm not talking the quality of your team. I'm talking the quality of your manager. Now, I want to be clear. Managing in Major League Baseball can be quite a thankless job. Many fans always remember the bad, never the good. They'll blame you for the bad. They won't give you the credit for the good. But from a betting perspective, you must be unbiased and know good bad process versus good bad result. Two opposite ends of the spectrum, as I've noted, happened to me this weekend. Joe Madden in the Angels game, one of the top managers in the game, and on my opinion, you may not think he's the best, but regardless, he's up there. In the Angels game on Friday, Ohtani did not go his patented 6 innings. It's left the 6th inning to be a bit of an issue for the Angels, who have 3 good arms in the back end, 7th, 8th, 9th. He opts for Chris Rodriguez in the 6th, which is fine. But Rodriguez finds himself in hot water. Few hits and error. Next thing you know, 2-run leads vanished. 4-4 game. Runners on first and second, no out. Many managers here might let Rodriguez try to get himself out of trouble, or they'll bring in somebody that's other than their back end 3 relief guys for 7th, 8th, 9th. It's a high leverage situation, which many managers get incorrect. I remember watching the game hoping they're going to warm up Myers, because at the end of the day, Myers is their best bullpen arm. He's not their closer, but he's their best bullpen arm. And in a high leverage situation, you need your best bullpen arm. Again, I don't understand why so many managers love to consistently use their bullpen late. I mean, their top bullpen late, like their closer or their best setup man late, when the game won't matter if there is no 8th inning. Like, it's just pure logic, right? If you lose the game in the 6th inning, or if you lose the lead in the 6th inning, there is no 8th, 9th inning to bring in your best arms anyway. Either way, so he brings in Myers, first, second, no outs. He gets the double play, strikeout afterwards. Then he has a quiet 7th inning. Sure, Iglesias blows the save in the ninth, and they end up winning in extra innings. But you can never be concerned with a predetermined game plan that doesn't work. The Angels' closer is Iglesias. Okay, I mentioned in the video. If he comes in and blows the save, it is what it is. That's not on the manager. Okay, but there are things that managers do and don't do that make them good versus bad managers. And like I said, the best managers make in-game adjustments the best. And look, is a guy like Joe Madden always correct? No. But he is certainly right more than he is wrong. And again, he got that one right for sure, and I was happy watching it, seeing it live. Now, it brings me to Luis Rojas for the Mets. On Sunday, Rojas dealing with a light bullpen. I mentioned this on Sunday on the live vid with how the Padres were hitting coming in. It still didn't deter me enough to not want to back the Mets at plus 115. In hindsight, maybe first five would have been a better wager, but that would have been quite a sweat that one late. But look, Rojas in-game management, quite a flub. Now, Familia was going to be the guy after Lucchesi regardless. And I was okay with the early pulling of Lucchesi, believe it or not. I know some people might be indifferent to that. I don't complain about everything. I want to be clear. I don't complain about everything or whatever in terms of a game. But there are certain things I think that are easily avoidable. Lucchesi, taking him out there, only had 72 pitches, to me was fine because he was about to see the order for the third time in a row, and he had struggled to up and down the lineup throughout. He had been in hot water all game. So I don't mind that at all. Bringing in Familia, has a quiet sixth inning. But then when Familia gets under hot water in the seventh, you need to start warming up who is going to be your closer for this game. And that was going to be Drew Smith for the Mets. And the idea that Drew Smith was not warming up while Familia was struggling, to me, was just wild. Familia's on the ropes, to me, meant Smith needed to be starting to get the arm loosened, a high-leverage situation that does require your best pen arm in a 2-1 baseball game. Now, when Familia loses Jerks and Profar, by Familia missing 3 straight sliders after being ahead in the count, to me, the writing's on the wall. I feel like anybody in that situation could have made that right call. Pull out Familia for Smith. Now, instead, he leaves him in, and then, you let Familia face Tommy Pham, walks him on 4 pitches, and then you bring in Jacob Barnes, your worst bullpen arm, versus arguably the NL's best hitter, high leverage situation, tie game. I don't have to tell you the result. But realistically, the moral of the story here is managers matter in this sport. People might not think they matter. And here's the thing. Like I said, a manager might win you anywhere between 5 to 15 games a year. Some managers lose their teams 5 to 15 games a year. I give you 2 complete opposite sides of the spectrum. Joe Madden is a top MLB manager. Luis Rojas is a bottom MLB manager. This has nothing to do with the talent you have on your roster. This is all to do with how you in-game manage. And again, some guys get caught watching the game versus managing it. And some managers make predetermined decisions on who they're bringing in certain spots, and they don't go against it based on the situation. Again, a guy like Madden for years in this league has made very good decisions in those games. Luis Rojas still a bit naive in these spots, but either way, I want to let you know, when you make bets, make sure you're at least thinking about managers and bullpens and who they have to leverage arms late in games, because again, the good ones will make the right decisions often, the bad ones won't. And again, that was kind of a flub on my end. I should have known that going in that Rojas probably would have screwed me. Either way, my look here in this game. Sorry for that rant. If you appreciated it, great. Otherwise, go F yourself. My look here, first 5 over 4.5 runs. I got this minus 115 at BetMGM in New Jersey. Have this as quite a juicy spot, actually. But as always, just 1 unit. Let's start with pitching. So Dallas Keuchel, journeyman lefty, long past his Cy Young days, though, right? Still a respectable pitcher. Draws a Rays team who, yes, does struggle with lefties. I believe they're like 10th worst in the league. But the sample isn't truly pure. Rays have been missing some guys this season, like many other teams, right? Full bill of health, though, now. Righties up and down the lineup with Pop, and this doesn't even mention their big lefty bats. Keuchel's got a weighted OBA of 364 versus lefties. And I think 304 versus righties. For a guy who doesn't get many strikeouts, this is pretty woeful. He's also walking too many guys, giving up too much hard contact. Draws a Rays team here who, has also found their stride with the sticks. Now, what a season they're having thus far behind Kevin Cash. Kevin Cash, another top MLB manager. He's a Terry Francona disciple, though, so I'll give him half credit there. But either way, he's been tremendous since he's taken over for Joe Madden in Tampa. On to McClanahan, who I've said before, and it's quite on some live shows when he's been pitching on Saturdays or Sundays. I'm just not a fan of McClanahan. I think he's a quote-unquote sexy pitcher, a guy that gets a lot of Ks, finds himself in trouble, has issues with the home run ball, walks too many guys. Anyway, 435 WOBA versus lefties, and it's about over 300 versus Rays. And I know the sample size versus lefties is small, but look, it's still rough. Look, his numbers may be due for some progression. His batting average on balls and plays a bit high. But it will come here. That's kind of tough to imagine. White Sox maul lefties, and will certainly have their spots to keep that train rolling. I briefly touched on the Rays bats coming in, and they've just piled on runs, winning 7 of their last 9, not including tonight's game, depending when you're watching, or yesterday's game. The Rays have issues with lefties who K a lot of guys, lefties with high K rates. But that won't be an issue here with Keuchel. K is about 5 guys per 9. I expect Keuchel to find himself in jams early and often here. If he wiggles out of them, sure, he'll be able to do damage control, and this likely goes under, at least on this side. The Rays may be near, again, the bottom versus lefties, but they actually lead all of Major League Baseball in walks drawn versus left-handed pitching. Runners should be on the base paths here on their end. Now, as for the Sox, this is a team just built to match left-handed pitching. Also practically full bill of health as well, aside from Moncada, but no harm or foul there because Moncada doesn't hit lefties very well. He's much better versus right-handed pitching. And again, this is the third best team in all of baseball versus lefties and super patient as well. As noted, McClanahan walks plenty, so this helps. Should only result in extra foot traffic. Sox have also scored 4 runs or more in 5 of their last 6, and as they get their going with their sticks as well. These are 2 of the best teams record-wise in all of Major League Baseball, so a nice little fun series here. I haven't spoken on the pop up and down, both lineups home run-wise, but look, a home run or 2 here early would just be a cherry on top. And again, they're getting 2 guys that do give up home runs. The reason I only want the first 5 is because I want to avoid the bullpens here. Rays have arguably one of the best, and the White Sox certainly have a good pen as well. I just want no part of either. As for the weather, it figures to be about 70 degrees, heavy wind blowing out to right field. Wind always subject to change, though, but if this wind holds, should only result in help for runs here. All in all, I really like this spot for runs to pop early. I'm surprised this total is only 8.5 as an opener. Actually, I have this at 9, and if you have it at 9, so that means some spots you actually open up a first 5 of 5. Either way, I got this 4.5 much heavier vig than what's shown on the market. This is minus 115 at BetMGM, but I got this up plus 135. Anyway, so also worth noting, tonight's game between 2 elite arms with these teams, total of 7, open 7.5. Actually, it might have closed 7.5. I know it opened and went down to 7. Either way, so these 2 arms pitching, and it's only a 1-run difference. I don't know about that now. And it also means the first 5 total only bumps like a half run as well. No easy outs in either of these lineups. And these bats draw 2 arms who have a lot of walk issues, prone to the long ball. Should be opportunities of plenty to score. And as I always say, when you handicap totals, you are handicapping opportunities for there to be runs, not so much that there actually will be runs. So again, White Sox, Rays, over 4.5. Got this minus 115 BetMGM in New Jersey. May the odds be ever in our favor. I want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, thumbs up. Create some fake accounts more. Thumbs up. If you did not enjoy, if you wake up with your nuts tied to a car battery, as always, drop comments below with your thoughts on the play. Let me know who you're betting for tomorrow's slate. As always, folks, do not be shy. Comment. The comment section's warm water, and I always get back to you. We'll be filled with content all week. I'm going to have a U.S. golf video tomorrow night with the DFS crew, daily NBA playoff vids with Spread Tyler, and more of the DFS crew. Joey's going to have you covered in bases for the next few days as well. Be sure to check us out, runpurebets.com. See what we're all about. Thank you again for watching. Be sure to gamble responsibly. Stay safe, folks.